Well, hello once again, everyone, and welcome to another session of our 2021 Virtual Outdoor Expo, presented this week by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. We're presenting our virtual sessions here on Facebook this week, but remember, we'll also be archiving all of our content on the PFBC YouTube page and our website, which is, of course, fishandboat.com. And you can find a complete schedule of our remaining events here during the Virtual Outdoor Expo this week on our Facebook page. My name is Mike Parker, the Director of Communications for the agency, and this session is all about employment with the Fish and Boat Commission. So, when it comes to all things jobs with the PFBC, we're going to bring in our top expert on the subject, and that happens to be Maxine Johnson, the Director of Human Resources for the Fish and Boat Commission. Joining us today, how are you, Maxine?
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good.
All right, you bet. So the way we're going to handle that is you and I talked earlier, and we put together a list of some of the most frequently asked questions that our HR professionals receive, and we're going to provide some answers to help those job seekers get on the right track. So before we do, though, let's get to know you a little bit, Maxine.
Mike, I've been with the Fish and Boat Commission for 11 years now. Time has flown by. It's been a great 11 years. And prior to that, I spent time in other Commonwealth human resource departments across the state of Pennsylvania. So this is my 25th year with the state.
So let's start it off. These are 5 questions with Maxine Johnson, our Director of Human Resources. So number 1, what types of jobs are available with the Fish and Boat Commission?
Well, the Fish and Boat Commission is a small agency. We typically employ under 400 permanent staff, and at any given time, we'll have about 80 seasonal staff. Even though we're a small agency, we have a very diverse quantity of jobs that are available at our agency. We do a vast array of work. We have biologists who sample the water, make sure that the water is clean. We have fish health experts who test for disease to make sure that the fish stay healthy. We have fish culturists who stock the fish and raise the fish and keep them healthy through the year as they grow. We have waterway conservation officers, which interact with the public. They enforce our laws and they educate people about the rules as they pertain to fishing and boating, but also fishing instruction as well. We have education staff. We have a trout in a classroom program where kids at schools are able to grow fish. They take them through the whole life cycle and release them into the wild. We also have people who teach people fishing skills, everything from fly fishing to ice fishing. We have boating safety instructors that try to help keep people safe and teach them about the importance of life jackets when they're fishing and boating. We have real estate professionals. We have construction and maintenance crews. They maintain our properties all over the state. And we do have properties all over the Commonwealth that have to be kept up. We have legislative and policy staff. We have clerical staff, and those are the people that would sell you your licenses when you want to purchase a fishing license or register your boat. We have information technology staff, and we have financial specialists, legal staff, and of course, human resource staff and other administrative professionals.
Right, communications and marketing, for instance.
Not to be left out.
Right, and that of course is what brought me to the agency several years ago. Thank you for the rundown. Now that we know what kind of opportunities are available, question number 2 for you, Maxine. Where do I find open job listings available at the Fish and Boat Commission?
I can't stress enough the importance of going to the website www.employment.pa.gov. That website has a wealth of information on it for any job seeker that's interested in employment with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission or the Commonwealth as a whole. It's a great resource for job seekers. When you go to that website, it tells you how to apply for a job. It tells you all of the job opportunities across the Commonwealth that are open, including at the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And that website is searchable. You can search by pay, agency, county, job type, etc. There's all different types of search options. That website also explains what veterans' preference is. The Commonwealth is passionate about hiring veterans that are eligible for our vacancies. And if you don't know what veterans' preference is, and if you are a veteran, you can go to that website and learn more about veterans' preference. That website also explains all the benefits associated with Commonwealth employment, such as vacation, holidays, health insurance to include vision and dental, and retirement. That website also has information on it about residency requirements. So most civil service covered jobs require Pennsylvania residency. However, even when Pennsylvania residency is required, one example of a person that could be eligible is a student, a college student, who is attending a Pennsylvania university. And if that student is enrolled in a Pennsylvania college and they have a Pennsylvania driver's license and or a Pennsylvania address, they may be eligible for Commonwealth employment.
All right, excellent. So that website, once again, www.employment.pa.gov. So we've got some open job positions. We've got some folks who have visited the website and now they're interested in applying. What kind of candidates would you say the Fish and Boat Commission is looking for? So that's question number 3. What are we looking for in a candidate for the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission?
Well, the first thing that I want to say is when you explore that website and you find a job posting that you're interested in, you want to look at the position description that is associated with that particular job. Every position description has what are called METs listed. METs are minimum experience and training. So when you're applying for a job, you want to make sure that you look at the position description and that you meet all of the minimum experience and training for that position. I would also recommend anybody who applies for a job needs to be very detailed and very thorough when they apply. Provide as much information about yourself as possible. The application process has been modernized and it has changed in recent years. You don't just send a resume anymore. You have to complete the online application. So don't rely on a resume. Fill out the online application and be as detailed and thorough as possible when you're doing so. Don't take any shortcuts. Follow all of the instructions. So carefully review the instructions. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Because if you've missed something, you can be disqualified and you won't even get called in for an interview. So pay attention to what the instructions are. Check and double check your work to make sure that you've sent in everything that's been requested. With the new employment system, you must apply for every vacancy. So your application doesn't stay on hold and get pulled back out for review for future jobs. You have to continue to visit the website and apply anew for each position you see that you might be interested in. So keep an eye on that site and apply each time you see a job that you're interested in. Also, it's important to note that when you look at the job postings, every job posting has a point of contact. There's a person's name, number, and email listed, and that's listed for a reason. If you have any questions, problems, or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to that point of contact. We are here to help you and advise you, and once you learn the process, it becomes easier. But sometimes when you're a new applicant, you might need to call and ask some questions, and that's okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the interviews as well. So if you get called in for an interview with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, you want to make sure that you come in prepared. You want to be ready to tell us all about yourself, your past experience, and the interview is a two-way street. It's important to remember that this is also your opportunity as a candidate to ask us questions. You get to interview us and find out if the job's a good fit for you. Think about some questions, ask us questions so that you understand as much as possible about the job. You want to make sure that you have your resume in order. Check it for typos, proof it, have another set of eyes look at it. You want to give us a resume that doesn't have mistakes in it. One of the most important things working for the Fish and Boat Commission is a positive attitude and teamwork. Now, I know that every agency says that, every place says that, but this really is a family environment here. We're a small agency, we get to know each other, we know all of our coworkers, and we work closely together. So this really is your work family. It's important to be able and willing to engage with your coworkers and the public. Our ideal candidate would be open to learning and be a good representative on and off the job for the commission. So always remember, when working for the Commonwealth, you are representing the agency that you work for, as well as the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So to sum it up, we're looking for a diverse group of candidates who represent the Commonwealth as a whole. All of our constituents, all of our customers, we are looking for folks who can relate to the citizens of Pennsylvania and want to engage with those citizens.
So as we continue here, I guess another question is people want to know, well, I've found the job that I'm interested in, I've applied, and now I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the phone, I'm waiting on an email. So the fourth most frequently asked question, Maxine, how long does it take to get a job with the Fish and Boat Commission?
Well, Mike, that depends. It all depends on the position. It depends on when the hiring managers are able to set up the interviews. That's typically the part that takes the longest in the application process, just getting the interviews scheduled. We do move fairly quickly, especially as a small agency. We are able to be quite nimble and keep these things moving along. However, I know also when you're a candidate, sometimes it can seem like it takes forever. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to remember to apply each time that there's a job opening that you are interested in. And the length of time also depends on the length of the job posting. So jobs can be posted anywhere, this is typical, from 5 to 15 days. Most of the time a job is posted, which means advertised, for about 15 days. Pay attention to those dates when you are applying, because once a job closes, it is closed. We aren't able to take in any late applications. So by midnight on the day of the closing, that is your last chance to apply for a position. So the dates are really important. When you get called in for an interview, there's typically a panel of at least 2 people. 2 is typical. Sometimes there may be 3. And there will be typically 2 interviews. Again, not always. Sometimes there may be 1, but most of the time there will be 2 interviews. And like I mentioned earlier, remember the importance of the interview process. That's the opportunity for us to really get to know you, for you to tell us and show us who you are. And I can't stress the importance of really putting some thought ahead of time into some questions that you have for us when you come in for an interview. Now, with COVID, it has slowed the interview process down a little bit. We are still interviewing. We have to ask for permission from the governor's office prior to hiring for any job due to the COVID pandemic. However, we've been creative. We are still filling jobs. And most of the time, the interviews since COVID are at least in part done through Skype or WebEx. That's new to us, but it's working out. We're working our way through the process, and we've been pretty successful with that. The Waterway Conservation Officer position is the job that probably takes the longest for us to hire. But there's a good reason for that. And the reason is because we do an extensive background check. There are physical requirements. We do a swim test, all of that on top of the in-person interview. The Waterway Conservation Officer job is a civil service covered position. Veterans preference does apply to that job. We're really trying to keep that position staffed. So keep an eye out on the website if you're interested in becoming a Waterway Conservation Officer. An important thing that candidates need to know about the Waterway Conservation Officer job is that you must be willing to work any place in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and reside there. You have to be willing to move and work wherever there's a job available. There are some weekends and some holidays that are required for the Waterway Conservation Officers, especially during trout season, in the height of boating season. Some of those summer holidays, our officers are out there in force to make sure that the public stays safe and are out there looking to help the public as well and assist people with safety matters, fishing skills, as well as enforcing the laws. So there's really a lot to that job.
They definitely have to be out there and working when the boaters and anglers are out there. So, opening day of trout season is definitely a day that if you're an officer, you'll be working. And you mentioned those holidays, 4th of July, Labor Day, that's some of those really popular summer holidays where people are out on their boats. That's when the officers are most needed. So, yeah. So
now, the officer job is a year-long training program. I'm going to make sure that I explain to the group. There is a 6-month training period at the police academy, and that's when the candidate receives their Act 120 training to be a police officer. And then the second 6 months of training is the very specific Fish and Boat Commission training, where the candidate learns all about the Fish and Boat Code. They learn our rules, our policies, our procedures, and just the laws that are specific to us. It's also the time that the applicant learns all about the different species of fish that are in Pennsylvania, all of our reptiles, all of our amphibians. A lot of folks don't know that not only are we responsible for the fish of Pennsylvania, but we also oversee everything that has to do with Pennsylvania's reptiles and amphibians. So our officers get trained in all of those disciplines as well.
This is a good one because there might be a few answers that apply to every position that there is to offer, but there might be a few that will be sort of unique to other positions. And this is number 5. What are the benefits of working for the Fish and Boat Commission?
Oh, Mike, there are so many benefits to working for the Fish and Boat Commission. Like I said, this is probably the last agency that I'm going to work at. I've been a lot of places, but Fish and Boat Commission is by far best place I've ever worked. It's a great place. We have the most dedicated staff that I have ever experienced within my Commonwealth employment. A lot of these folks, they're not here for the money. They are here for the love of the job, the passion that they have for our aquatic resources and helping the citizens of Pennsylvania learn to safely enjoy what Pennsylvania has to offer. There is a lot of camaraderie at this agency. Like I said, we're small. People know each other. It's almost like a family sometimes. You spend a lot of time with your coworkers, but a lot of the jobs are really enjoyable to do. People come here, they stay for their entire career. In today's world, there's a lot of career hopping. However, at Fish and Boat, people come and they come here to stay because they have such a passion for what they do. And many people will tell you, working for us is their dream job. We're really a hidden gem within the Commonwealth. I didn't know a lot about the agency before I came to work here. Once I got here, I was amazed at all the different types of careers that we have and all the different things that we do and teach people and many things that we're responsible for. So if you like to see the Commonwealth and get an opportunity to get outdoors, learn what your coworkers are doing, because we have a nice opportunity for our staff to go out and learn and see, observe what other folks in the agency do. If you enjoy working with people and feeling good about the mission of the agency that you work for, Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission just might be the place for you.
So if you enjoyed this presentation here today with Maxine on Facebook, on YouTube, on the website, or wherever you found us, make sure you spread the word. Give us a like or a share so that other people can benefit from the conversation that we had here today about employment with the Fish and Boat Commission. I want to thank our producer behind the scenes, Andy Desco. There he is. Hey, Andy. He's been producing our segments this week during the 2021 Virtual Outdoor Expo. Coming up yet, later today at 1 o'clock, Kayak Fishing Pennsylvania's Rivers, featuring PFBC Northwest Region Education Specialist Chad Foster, and tournament kayak angler Russell Johnson will be joining me for a conversation all about that growing, interesting sport of kayak fishing. Tomorrow, we'll wrap things up at 10 o'clock in the morning with a Let's Talk Muskies session featuring some of our fisheries and hatcheries experts to discuss the program that's behind this emerging fishery for anybody who's looking for the catch of a lifetime in Pennsylvania waters when we're dealing with muskies. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we'll have our virtual Outdoor Expo wrap-up session featuring a recap of the week's most interesting topics and a look ahead to some of the upcoming fishing seasons, boating programs, and other opportunities to come here in 2021. My name is Mike Parker. I want to thank you for joining us for this session as part of our 2021 Virtual Outdoor Expo.